For the first time in over 25 years, it's time to introduce your Knoxville Smokies.
Go Smokies!
All right, Smokies fans, welcome back to another live Pilot pregame show. We've got Shuckers and Smokies, game number 2 here at Covenant Health Park. I'm joined alongside Tyson Belton, Brian Keiss. Got the Smokies broadcast team here in the stadium, and it is a beautiful day for baseball here as we look out at the stadium. Batting practice going on as we speak, and got to remind you listeners that today's show always brought to you by Pilot. Pilot is committed to connecting people and places with comfort, care, and a smile at every stop. So check out one of their conveniently located stations. Try their delicious burritos, jumbo wings, tenders pizza, hot home-style meals, and more. Pilot, see you out here. So, guys, pleasure to have you along with me. Tyson, how you doing today?
Doing really well today, man. Great day outside. It's not too hot, so it's great.
All right, Brian, how's the stash feeling?
Pretty good. Great day for baseball. I'm excited for it, Connor.
Still hanging in. I'm surprised that thing hasn't flown off your lip there, Brian. It's looking like it's could gain some wings, some air traction there. But as we're sitting here, so we've got game number 2, guys, and we've got a Brewers affiliate, a Cubs affiliate, some NL Central action going down, and it's big news because the Cubs and the Brewers are battling right now at the major league level. And now that the trade deadline's passed, our teams are kind of locked in, and right now the Cubs could be using a lot of their depth down the line as they get into this grind period, trying to position themselves into that playoff run, whether it's a wild card or to top the NL Central. But here in Double-A, Smokies also trying to make up their playoff run of their own. So we're still behind the Birmingham Barons in the Southern League North, but they've been on a good roll so far, and they got into the win column last night. So Smokies and the Shuckers took the field. This is the first time Biloxi is here in Covenant Health Park, so adjusting to their new bearings, and the Smokies took a 5-4 win. Tyler Santana was given the win based off of some dominant innings in middle relief, really held the game close so the Smokies can go ahead and take that victory. Runs were sprinkled throughout the whole game, but Tyson, what was your main takeaway from game number 1?
My main takeaway was really Knoxville taking advantage of them being walked 11 times as they really put themselves in scoring position, and that error by Mark Manfredi that really gave Knoxville the turning point around in that match. So that was really what I took from that game.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big turning point. I mean, you got to take advantage of when the other team makes errors, and the Smokies did that last night. A whole lot of walks. And then, Brian, what was your biggest takeaway?
Well, Knoxville, not a lot of hits last night, but out of the 9-hole, Jalen Palmer last night did have a 1-for-3 night, but a triple and 2 RBIs really was the difference maker in a game that Knoxville didn't really get the bats going, but a couple of timely hits for them really get big spots for them yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the box score as it is, 5 runs on 3 hits. You're going to take that every day of the week when the other team scores 4 runs on 7 hits. You know you may have been given some free bases, and at least they took advantage of the opportunities. The Smokies as a total went 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position, so if they come up with more of those spots like they were last night here today, need to take better advantage of those. And could it be because the league's best run producer wasn't in the lineup, BJ Murray Jr., not in the lineup again today, so somebody in the middle of the Smokies order is going to have to step up. But let's go ahead and start off with where the standings lie as we sit here before game number 2. After yesterday's win, Smokies still back. So, Tyson, how does the Southern League North look?
Southern League North looks like this as the Smokies are sitting at a 17-16 record, 7.5 games behind the leading Birmingham Barons as they've been playing really well. They're on a 4-game win streak, and they're playing over there in Chattanooga. So hopefully the Smokies can really get back on their tracks. We need a couple of losses from the Birmingham Barons and us to keep stringing up these wins that we've been getting lately to really start getting that second playoff hope aspiration. And coming down to it, the Rocket City Trash Pandas sitting at an 11-22 record. Not really looking too bright for them, but everybody else is kind of still in the run when it comes to the Southern League North.
And, of course, Chattanooga Lookouts cannot help us out. They lose to the Birmingham Barons in the opener of their series. The Birmingham Barons 4-game win streak. Somebody's got to slow them down so that Knoxville can gain some ground, because right now, out of a series stretch right now, you can't even sweep a team and take over first place from the Barons. So somebody's got to slow them down while Knoxville's actually staying in the win column above 500 baseball for the first time in a while. But, Brian, what's your take on the Southern League South?
Southern League South looking pretty good. Pensacola, a 5-game win streak, 7-3 in their last 10, 21-11. They lead the Southern League South. Montgomery is 6.5 games back at 15-18. They are 5-5 in the last 10. Columbus is 14-19, taking over third place in the Southern League South. And the Biloxi is rounding it out at 14-20. They're 8 games back and on a 6-game losing streak now, guys, after their loss last night.
Yeah, Smoky's trying to make it 7. And right now, they've already locked up a playoff spot, so you got to imagine that's going to factor into how well this team's, playing and how they're feeling just mentally going into all of these games, knowing that you're going to be playing some extra baseball no matter how these games turn out. But the other big thing to note is they've had a couple of their most highly touted prospects in Brock Wilkin and then their first baseman, Luke Adams. They've been on the IL for a while now. They haven't been able to contribute to this team. Two guys that we probably expected to be up in AAA at this point in the year if they were still on the field. So some big bats missing from this lineup, but they've got a couple making some debuts here today. We'll get into that in a bit. But first, we got to start with our starting pitching matchup. So for today, 2 great arms. Grant Kipp on the mound for the Smokies versus a AA debut, Jaron DeBerry for the Biloxi Suckers. So we'll start with Grant Kipp. Tyson, I know you got the report on him. What's it looking like?
Grant Kipp is currently sitting at a 6-3 record with a 3.38 ERA. Kipp, the last time we saw Kipp on the mound was when they defeated the Chattanooga Lookouts back in July, where he pitched 5 innings, only allowing 1 run and 2 hits, and he also had 6 strikeouts that game. Against Biloxi this season, Kipp has posted a 1.80 ERA, allowing only 4 hits, 2 runs, and 6 walks, and striking out 11 batters. So hopefully we can keep seeing those strikeouts, as Kipp is leading the Smokies, and he's currently sitting 8th in the Southern League in strikeouts. So we really want to see those Ks keep coming up.
Yeah, here are a bunch of highlights of strikeouts against the Columbus Clingstones. And the one thing I really want to point out about Kipp's arsenal, he's going to throw a whole 6 pitches at you. You got the fastball, the sweeper, the gyro, the cutter, the changeup, the sinker. But when he's able to really utilize this fastball slider combo, here it is right here. Fastball up in the zone, blows it by you. And then you get that slider. It's got so much vertical break on it. Here's one more time. Locks batters up inside. So if he can continue to utilize those 2 pitches, if the fastball is working up in the zone, Biloxi's going to have a tough time today. And then on the other side, we've got a debut, Jaron DeBerry, right-handed pitcher. So, Brian, what's the report on the youngster?
Recent call-up for DeBerry. He comes up from High A plus Wisconsin. DeBerry is 22 years old, 6'3", about 180. High A, 2-4 as a starter with a 5.43 ERA. Started 9 games and pitched 54 2/3 innings pitched, making his AA debut, like you mentioned today. A couple of really good pitches as well. His cutter and his slider are going to play off each other really, really well. He's got a lot of swing and miss stuff and a lot of late break on that slider as well, as you see right here. So look for him to play on that today and have a good outing in his AA debut.
Yeah, trying to impress, as this is a rotation that really needs some help right now as well. They've got a few top prospects throughout the rotation, but the meat of it is being really hurt. They've been carried by 3 horses so far in this season. And then he's seen a couple of guys in the lineup tonight. Here, we'll bring up some clips right here. You can see him face Jefferson Rojas in this first at-bat that's going to pop up. First pitch, fastball outside. Nice, right? Second pitch, almost looks like he put some two-seam motion to backdoor him. And then this wiffle ball slider makes Rojas look silly. You're going to get another look at the slider right here. Makes a check swing, strike 3. This one is a more darting action. Just falls right off of the table. So Smokies are going to have to make sure that he's not utilizing that pitch to make them chase out of the zone. They need to stay inside the zone, chase that fastball, maybe that cutter, and hopefully they'll have a good day because this guy's got some electric stuff. And we've seen him get knocked around a little bit, though. Had a 5 ERA in his first year in professional baseball, already making it up to the AA level. So props to Jaron DeBerry. Also love saying his name. Worth noting. Pretty fun. And as we keep continuing on, let's go ahead and get into our lineups here in our pregame show, our pilot pregame show. So let's first start it off with the opposing Biloxi Shuckers. And Brian, how are they aligning themselves here for game 2?
Luis Law going to lead it off once again. He's in center field again. Mike Bove is the DH. So similar 1-2 punch for them as well. Cooper Pratt is at shortstop again. Blake Burke making his return in game 2 here in Knoxville again at first base. Eduardo Garcia is the new third baseman tonight. Didn't play last night. Darian Miller, I beg your pardon, did not play last night either. He's doing the catching. Garrett Span is in right field. Yeremy Vargas in the 8-hole, and Vladimir Restituyo, a nice night for him last night, is in left to round it out.
Yeah, it's worth noting. Blake Burke, Knoxville alumni. You got a big Vol National champion in the 4 spot. Did not see a lot of action out of him in the box last night. 3 walks, 0 for 1 night. He had his own little fan section. Honestly, got cheered on for more than any other Smoky I've seen this season so far. Honestly, we've had some big Chase Burns crowds, some big Christian Moore crowds, but Blake Burke right up there with Knoxville's best. Going to have a big crowd tonight again for day 2, I'm sure, because it's all you can eat Wednesday here at Covenant Health Park. So for everyone listening on 92.5, 1180 WKCE, it's not too late. You can still get a ticket. Join us late for all you can eat. And who knows, maybe you'll catch a foul ball over there in the Bush's Beans Picnic Pavilion. And for everybody tuning in on the YouTube channel, Smokies Baseball, where we're live streaming all of our pilot pregame shows, plenty of time to go ahead and secure a ticket, get here to the ballpark tonight, and get some great food. And now let's go ahead and get into our home lineup. Our Smokies starting 9. Tyson, break it down for us.
Leading off for us is going to be Brett Bateman, who's going to be in the center field today. Coming right after him is going to be our leading hitter, Pedro Ramirez, who's going to be playing third baseman. Jefferson Rojas is going to be up next. A shortstop for today, and our DH, also our cleanup hitter, is going to be Corey Joyce. Followed up by Rayvaj Garcia, our switch hitting second baseman. Followed up by Pablo Eliendo, who is going to be on the first base today and not catching. Carter Trice, the new Smoky, coming in the left field. Followed up by our catcher, Casey Opitz, and it's going to be finished off by Jalen Palmer, who had a pretty good night last night.
Yeah, Palmer with that RBI triple ended up being the 2 go-ahead runs at the beginning of the game. So saw his batting practice earlier today. He was stroking some balls deep out to left field, hoping to see some more of that power-speed combo out of him today. Get a little bit more into Palmer a bit later. But fans, can't forget to remind you that this season, Pioneer Comfort and your Knoxville Smokies hitting home runs for heroes. So what that means, for every home run hit by a Smokies player this season, Pioneer Comfort will be donating $100 to the Wounded Warrior Project. Already to date, Smokies and Pioneer Comfort have raised $5,300 for this amazing cause. Looking for some more home runs tonight. We saw some wind blowing earlier, really at the start of the pregame show, but it is settled now. So we'll see how it is at first pitch. 7 o'clock coming up at Covenant Health Park. So now let's get into our final segment here in our pilot pregame show, our players to watch. So these are guys we're keeping our eye on to hopefully make a big impact in helping the Smokies get another win tonight and set Biloxi on a 7-game losing skid. So, Brian, let's start with you. Who's your guy to watch tonight?
Well, like I mentioned, Jalen Palmer earlier in the pregame show, 1 for 3 last night with a triple and those 2 RBIs. He does bring his total up on the year in the RBI column to 29. That average is creeping back up to 218, but a couple of solid pieces have been really solid as the second leadoff hitter out of the 9-hole pretty much all year long for the Smokies. Looking for him to have another nice night tonight against Biloxi. He does have the number, so looking for that here this evening.
Yeah, we see how hype the bullpen gets when you send one out there into left center field, and that's really Jalen Palmer's power zone. So hopefully he can bring a little bit more of that to the table tonight. And then Tyson, who is your player to watch for tonight?
My player to watch is going to be Carter Trice, the new Smoky, who was just called up on Monday and played Tuesday the 5th for Knoxville. His performance wasn't really the best last night as he was walked twice, but he was one of the runs that the Smokies had and to give Smokies the victory last night. And in his high A campaign, he posted a 198 batting average with 53 runs, 51 hits, 14 home runs, and batted in 34 runners. So as he's sitting at the 7th spot in the lineup, we hope that he can really help us transition to the top well and get us back going. And we really need those people at the bottom of the lineup to really be connecting with the ball.
Yeah, we saw this clip right here, back-to-back home runs and back-to-back at-bats in one of his final games there at the high A level. So hopefully he can bring some of that to the table. You mentioned the 198 batting average, but the on-base percentage was above 360. So hoping he can bring some of that just electricity to this lineup. Andy Garriola got called up not too long ago from the high A club. He was leading that team in RBIs, also had plenty of home runs. They were hoping for some of that from him. Haven't seen his first AA home run, but I mean, here, let's pull up the clips again. I mean, Carter Trice, he's playing with the swag. The jersey comes more untucked as the game goes on. You can see it. Look, I mean, he's practically untucking it around the bases. I mean, he's going to let the chest lettuce flow, and hopefully he can let the ball flow right out of the yard along with it. And we're hoping for some big things out of him, out of the middle of the lineup. I like that call out from you, Tyson. So for my guy, I'm also calling out the middle of the lineup. All of us calling out the middle to the bottom part of the lineup. My guy's Pablo Aliendo. And you mentioned, Brian, that Palmer may have Biloxi's number. Well, Pablo definitely has it. Here's one of his first home runs of the season at Biloxi. This thing is an absolute nuke, a shot out to left field. Looking for some more of that from him. All of our guys that we're calling out today have the potential to put a ball over the fence with just one swing of the bat. So for Pablo, what I'm looking for him today is, we were noting DeBerry's dirty cutter and slider combo. Pablo's success is coming most often when he's laying off those pitches low and away. So if he can get some of those sinkers inside, some of those straight fastballs up in the zone from DeBerry and make himself on time, we could be seeing some fireworks out of the middle of the lineup here tonight. So those are our players to watch. Wraps it up here on our Pilot pregame show. So, fellas, any last words? Brian, what are you most excited for here tonight?
Well, it's cooling off a little bit. Should be a very pleasant day here at Covenant Health Park. Get yourself out here and get some all-you-can-eat here this evening. All
right, Tyson, and for you, any last words here for the Pilot pregame show?
Go Smokies, let's get this win.
All right, and then my final thoughts. Bottom of the fourth inning, if you're here at Covenant Health Park, make sure you keep your eyes on the festivities. They've got new racing sausages sponsored by Swaggerty's Sausage, the official sausage of the Smokies. So, keep your eye on that. They had one race yesterday. I don't know exactly who won. I couldn't see the winner, but they'll be racing. They're coming out of that center field gate, so keep your eyes on that. A great new promotion here at Covenant Health Park. If you haven't already been to the stadium, it's beautiful. Get out here, SmokiesBaseball.com to get your tickets. And make sure to stay tuned right here, 92.5 or 1180 WKCE, to catch all of the action on radio. It'll be Mick Gillespie, the voice of the Smokies, and Richie Giuliano along with you on the Smokies Baseball Network for the call. Or you can tune in live at MILB.com to catch all of the action there on TV and place yourself right here in Covenant Health Park. So for Brian Keiss, Tyson Belton, and myself, Connor Nelson, signing out for the Smokies Baseball Network. Stay tuned, 7 o'clock, first pitch, Smokies versus Shuck.
Fans, for the first time in over 25 years, it's time to introduce your Knoxville Smokies.
Go Smokies! Woo!